Green Hope Patient Network and Green Cure, and kind of existentially a lot of the other folks here in this room. I want to thank you guys. You were one of the first city councils to step out and support medical cannabis in this state, and it means a lot to us. It still means a lot to us today. And this new ordinance you have in front of you is pretty reasonable for the most part. I wanted to flag a couple of pieces of it, which I did email you all about earlier today. One is the way premises are defined would include parking lots, and that's fine if somebody controls their own parking lot, but there's a few of these facilities where they share a parking lot with other businesses, and given the restrictions you have on kids on collective garden premises, conceivably a kid showing up with a parent to go to a neighboring business could technically be counted as being on their premises at that point. So I would ask that you either knock parking lots or parking areas out of that definition or find a way to work around it. Separately, I know you guys have spent a lot of time and effort trying to just make sure there's not going to be an issue about children and minors around these places, and that's fine. There are situations from time to time, and it's usually like once or twice a month, where an adult patient will show up with a young child in tow who is not a patient, usually a baby, usually when they do not have daycare, because they're poor and they don't have daycare. And the way that's usually handled is they just leave the kid in the waiting room, they go in and access medicine, come back out, and it's all over. But the way the restriction is written right now in the ordinance, these collective gardens would have to ask people to leave their kids outside in a car or something like that, and that probably isn't the safest situation. So I suggested some possible ideas in my email. You could just certainly create a situation where minors would be allowed in a waiting room for a brief period of time, as long as they're under supervision of an adult, and they can't go into the medication room, and leave it at that. Other than that, thank you, and thank you for your support on this issue. It's very important, and I assure you they noticed this in Olympia, where this is all going to be taken up again next week. Thank you.
Coming in breakfast medicine. They come in, I always have somebody up front that watches the children. They go do their business, they come out, the children don't know nothing about it, and they're on their merry way. Pharmacies are that way. You know, they're exposed to a lot more at a pharmacy than they are in my establishment or other ones. As far as the parking lot, yeah, I have a problem with that too. I'm on Aurora at the Ryu Plaza. It's a huge parking lot. I can't police it. I don't have enough manpower to police it. So I don't think it should be my responsibility to police the parking lot area. And the final one I have is on the criminal charges. If anybody's a volunteer or worker, and it says in there any criminal conviction, I think it should be changed to any felony conviction, because simple trespassing can be a criminal, or reckless driving could be a criminal charge, and then I'm stripped of being able to help patients, or somebody who's volunteering isn't allowed to come in. I agree, you know, felons, okay. If you got a felony conviction, I don't think you should be, you know, able to work in our field. But as far as a criminal, you know, just any criminal conviction, I think that should be changed. And thank you, and I think you're doing a great job, and you're stepping up where other city councils, you know, aren't. They're just waiting for legislation, which, yes, next week we can go deal with them. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, council members, and city staff. My name is Don Skaki. I live in the city of Renton. I do business and have friends in Shoreline, that live in Shoreline, and are also patients. I want to thank you for your work so far, and echo some of the remarks you've heard here earlier. I do want to say, as a parent, parents love their children. I don't think anyone would deliberately put their children in harm. And even as the law of Washington State provides that it is not illegal for a non-patient to be in the presence of medical cannabis, I believe we do the right thing by asking our friends and neighbors to watch over our children for a few minutes while we take care of some business to keep it out of their mind's eye, as it were. So I'd like to again echo what was said earlier and have you seriously consider the few last remaining items that should be dealt with. I want to commend Waldo for the mentorship he's given those young boys tonight. I think it was very appropriate, even considering the issue before you tonight, that with the words of Dr. King, our fight is not over. I think our fight will never end until it's over nationwide, but we want to provide for patients in a way that isn't a burden to them. Many patients have either exhausted their medical benefits or simply find cannabis to be their only adequate and effective treatment. Those patients need to be spending their money on food and shelter and their other needs. And the further you burden a business or unnecessarily burden a business or unreasonably burden a business, the higher the cost will ultimately be to the end user, the patients. So I thank you all for your time and look forward to a more positive result. Thank you.
And I've worked fairly closely with the City of Seattle in drafting and creating their ordinance. I've worked closely with the City of Issaquah in drafting and completing their ordinance. And I have to say, last week I was at the hearing, and we didn't have a very strong showing. Essentially, I was the only one that spoke up on behalf of medical cannabis and Shoreline. And I was rather disappointed in the way that the meeting went. And when I saw the draft of the proposed ordinance or essentially the moratorium, I was pleasantly surprised. I'd like to thank the Shoreline City Council for the courage that you've shown in working with the medical marijuana community. There are very many local governments that are willing to do that. And I think through your courage, you're going to not only create a safer community here in Shoreline, but you're also going to assure that the medical marijuana patients that live in this city will continue to have access to their medicine. I wanted to address a couple of things in regards to council's concerns regarding regulations. My clients, I can speak for my clients at Green Cure, I know that when a patient comes into a Green Cure, they are thoroughly checked. Their authorization is validated with the doctor that they received their authorization from. All patients are over 18 years of age. And I understand council's concerns with children. I have no objection to preventing children from being inside dispensaries. I just don't think that that's a problem. Parking lots may be another issue, but inside the dispensary, I don't think that's a problem. I think that can be complied with fairly easily. Authorizations are checked. They sign a membership form that assures that there will be no on-site consumption, no consumption in the parking lot, no loitering, no alcohol, no weapons. The things that I think council is concerned with, my clients are concerned with. I know that a Green Cure will be paying a check to the City of Shoreline, roughly the amount of $20,000 for sales tax for last quarter. And they will continue to pay those taxes. They are a legitimate business. They want to operate just like any other legitimate business within the City of Shoreline. I think through regulations, through guidelines from you, I think we can continue to work together, and I think you'll save community and you'll still allow the patients in Shoreline access to benefits. Thank you.
I was worried about children being in the lobby of a dispensary. Personally, never seen a child in one. Within my first year as a patient, I've never seen a child in any dispensary. I just don't. While I agree that yes, children don't need to be exposed to medical marijuana, it's just not a big enough issue to really create hard ordinance over. As far as parking lots go, yes, that's also a lot of extra man hours. That's more cutting into already somewhat slim budgets for these establishments, and this stuff certainly isn't cheap. So we would, yes, as a patient, I would like to see it remain affordable, especially since traditional medicine doesn't cover my needs personally. I would like to be able to have easy, affordable access to my medication. Thank you.
People, it's there to help people, and I have a daughter of my own, and when I go into one of these places and I sit in the waiting room, it feels like I'm in a doctor's office, and or maybe the pharmacy. there's nothing negative about it. There's nothing that could influence a child. They don't see the meds, and I just think that maybe we need to rethink that issue right there. And also,